A close primary here in Kentucky for Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders. I'm Rich Edson in Lexington. I'll have the latest details coming up.
It's Jim Gray versus Rand Paul for the Senate in November. Hear from both candidates coming up.
I'll tell you why Lexington firefighters believe a house fire this afternoon spread very quickly.
The Fox 56 10 o'clock news starts now.
Voters in Kentucky went to the polls today. The Democratic presidential primary has been going back and forth between Hillary Clinton and Senator Bernie Sanders.
Clinton is trying to avoid a third primary loss in a row to Sanders. Thanks for watching Fox 56. Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders are neck and neck at the polls.
Right now, the Associated Press says the race is too close to call, but just a few precincts remain out. Clinton has less than a 0.5% lead. Fox News correspondent Rich Edson is in Lexington with the latest.
Tuesday's Democratic presidential primary in Kentucky is too close to call between frontrunner Hillary Clinton and her challenger Bernie Sanders. Coming into Tuesday's primary, both campaigns seem prepared for a close race. Clinton enters this primary with an almost 300 pledged delegate lead over Sanders, though she's been plagued in coal country by comments she made about the industry.
Because of Hillary's comments on coal, I think especially in eastern Kentucky, that's going to be a big deciding factor. And even people that I wouldn't have expected to vote for Bernie are talking about voting for him.
Clinton is also fighting continued momentum surrounding Sanders' campaign, as a presumptive GOP nominee, Donald Trump, is now focusing on the general election and attacking her.
And you know, it's time people stop listening to Republican propaganda about the economy, education, and health care.
A challenge for Sanders, the state's Democratic primary is a closed contest.
Independents are not allowed to vote.
Sanders predicted a positive result if his campaign gets voters to the polls.
If there's a large voter turnout, I think we'll win.
As for Trump, he won Kentucky's GOP caucuses in March. He's running against no active national campaign in Tuesday's GOP contest in Oregon. Sanders is vowing to stay in this race through the July convention in Philadelphia, though Hillary Clinton could secure enough delegates in early June's primaries. In Lexington, Kentucky, Rich Edson, Fox 56 10 o'clock news.
There is a Hillary Clinton watch party tonight at Parley Social in downtown Lexington. Supporters are celebrating Clinton's performance in the Bluegrass State tonight.
Oh, wow. It was like being at an NFL playoff game that we had the ball when we were behind and we were inside the 2-minute warning and we made the drive.
A Sanders watch party is being held at the Coffee Tree in Frankfort. His supporters are also celebrating the close race.
Pretty much a dead heat between Clinton and Sanders. There were 3 votes difference a while ago. The last time I looked, there were 2,000 votes difference, so it's bouncing back and forth both ways.
There is no percentage that would trigger an automatic recanvass. The stage has been set for a race this fall for one of Kentucky's U.S. Senate seats. Republican Senator Rand Paul easily beat James Gould and Stephen Slaughter in the Republican race.
On the crowded Democratic side, Lexington Mayor Jim Gray earned the nomination, picking up more votes than the other 6 candidates combined. Garrett Weimer is at the Gray election party in Lexington. He continues our team coverage.
Mayor Jim Gray watched the election returns at home with his family, but it didn't take long for that race to be called and for him to join the celebration here with his supporters.
Please join me in welcoming the next United States Senator from the Commonwealth of Kentucky, Mayor Jim Gray.
Gray easily beat 6 other Democrats seeking the nomination.
We are going to win in November. Because there is one thing I hear more than anything else as I travel this great state. Our citizens want a senator who lives by 3 simple words. Kentucky first, always.
Incumbent Senator Rand Paul also had no trouble beating his 2 primary opponents and is now looking ahead to November.
You know, I think I'm going to run on my record. I've tried very hard to represent Kentucky by saying, you know what, we need a smaller government. We need to leave more money in Kentucky.
Looking to November, Gray's trying to be the first Democrat to win a Senate seat in Kentucky since 1992. In Lexington, I'm Garrett Weimer for the Fox 56 10 o'clock news.
All U.S. House seats are up for election this year. For U.S. House District 6, which includes Lexington, Republican incumbent U.S. Representative Andy Barr easily beat Roger Brill, getting 85% of the vote. And on the Democratic side, Nancy Jo Kemper picked up the win over Jeff Young, 80% to 20%. So now she'll face Barr in November. In District 5, Republican Congressman Hal Rogers beat John Burke in a landslide. And in the open seat in the 1st District, former Ag Commissioner and candidate for Governor James Comer has revived his political career, winning the Republican primary with more than 60% of the vote. His nearest challenger, Mike Pape, was far behind.
In the statewide races, Republican Rick Girdler has won the state Senate District 15 race with 32% of the vote. There were a total of 4 candidates running. In state Senate District 21, incumbent Republican Albert Robinson beat Michael Bryant 55% to 45%. Democrat Janice Odom was running unopposed on the Democratic side.
In the 54th State House District, incumbent Republican Daniel Elliott easily won his primary with 81% of the vote. In the 55th District, which includes parts of Mercer and Jessamine counties, incumbent Kim King bested Bradley Vaughn 85% to 15%. In the 71st, another good night for the Republican incumbent. Jonathan Schell defeated Buzz Karloftis, getting 80% of the vote.
In District 72 for the Republicans, it was Curtis Kennemer over Philip Coffer, 70% to 30%. And in District 73, Republican incumbent Donna Mayfield easily defeated challenger Les Yates. On the Democratic side in that district, it was John Hendricks getting 68% of the vote over Kenneth Blair. So Hendricks will face Mayfield in the fall.
The Republicans also had a race in the 81st District. C. Morgan defeated Gus LaFontaine 55 to 45. Moving to the 82nd District, Republican incumbent Regina Birch cruised to victory with 69% of the vote.
And the Democrats had a race in the 84th District with incumbent Fitz Steele taking 60% of the vote over Kenneth Hall. In District 91, a close race for the Republicans with Gary Harold beating Randall Christopher 51 to 49%.
And in District 95, the Democratic Speaker of the House, Greg Stumbo, advances by winning 64% of the vote.
Yeah, and voters needed to bring an umbrella with them to the polls today. It's been a soggy and chilly election day.
But warmer weather is on the way. Let's go now to Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey.
Yeah, warmer doesn't necessarily equate to warm, guys. Still going to be below normal over the next few days. But tonight, it's all about the rains that are out there across the region. Fox radar continues to light up with the next round of soggy weather rolling across central and eastern Kentucky. Heaviest rains here across the corridor north of 64. Get into northern Kentucky, Flemingsburg, over towards Cynthiana. And then look what's beginning to pop over downtown Lexington. Some moderate rain bands. That's extending back to the west toward the BG Parkway and toward eventually Interstate 65, getting in on a lot of that rain. Coming at us in waves. We got the next round that is already beginning to gather a little steam across the Paducah area. This comes through here tonight into the first half of tomorrow. Then as we go into the afternoon, it gets a little better, but at this point, anything is going to be qualifying as better weather. A couple of areas of low pressure to our south and southeast. Back to school tomorrow for a lot of the kids out there, and it's soggy for the trip in. Chilly showers around upper 40s. Into the afternoon, upper 50s to low 60s, mainly dry. If we can get a ray of sunshine late tomorrow, guys, we'll see temperatures into the upper 60s. We'll come back and talk about one really good-looking day, just one in a few.
We'll take one if we can get it.
Exactly.
Well, Lexington firefighters are investigating what caused a fire that destroyed one home and damaged 4 others.
The fire started around 4:30 this afternoon on Stansbury Cove. That's near Hayes Boulevard. Lexington firefighters say the fire quickly spread because the homes were so close together. Monique Blair has the latest on the investigation.
You can see this home here on Stansbury Cove was completely destroyed by fire, but firefighters tell us 4 other neighboring homes were also damaged by the fire.
We saw a little bit of smoke coming over the house, so we ran through our house and looked out the back door, and their back porch was just fully engulfed in flames.
Neighbors tell me the scene looked like a war zone because the smoke was thick and the atmosphere was chaotic. When firefighters got to the home around 4:30, they immediately went inside, but they quickly had to leave the home because Battalion Chief Jeff Nance says the roof started to collapse. Soon after that, the fire began to spread to neighboring homes, in total damaging the 2 homes on either side of the home that originally caught fire, and then 2 homes behind it.
We're going to see more and more of this as time goes. They're just built too close together. The vinyl siding does nothing to prevent heat from catching another home on fire. It's just going to be, it's the way our future looks right now. So
Chief Nance tells us nobody was hurt as a result of this fire. Fire investigators are still trying to figure out what caused this fire. In Lexington, Monique Blair for the Fox 56 10 o'clock news.
More than 50 firefighters responded to the scene, and it took close to 45 minutes to completely contain the fire.
Investigators in Rowan County now believe a fire that destroyed 2 Moorhead businesses last month was set on purpose. The fire destroyed H2O Wireless and Tobacco and Electric Beach Tanning on West Main Street. Moorhead police say surveillance video from the morning of April 12th shows a person entering the building. A short time later, the video shows flames coming from that building. Police say that video helped them determine it was arson.
The people that owns the store and the Electric Beach here and stuff like that, I think it ruined them. It don't ruin the town, though.
Last month, the owner of the building told us the fire caused around $1 million in damage. So far, police have not made any arrests in the case.
Big changes are coming to Midway University this fall.
After the break, why many men who want to attend the university will be impacted.
Honda knows.
Sit there and rewrite.
I think that though. They should. Midway University is planning some big changes in the coming months. For the first time in its history, the university will allow men to enroll in its daytime undergraduate programs.
And men will be able to live on campus next year. Mike Linden is telling us why the university is becoming a co-educational institution.
Since its founding in 1847, Midway University has only allowed women to attend as full-time undergraduate students. This fall, that's going to change.
After 169 years, is that the Board of Trustees voted unanimously last week to move to full co-education.
Men have been allowed to take online and evening classes at Midway for nearly 30 years. But now they'll be able to be full-time undergraduate students, and soon even more.
Eventually, in 2017, they can live on campus and they will be able to be part of athletic teams.
While Marsden says allowing men to become full daytime students is a big change, he says there won't be any big changes coming to campus itself. For now, the university does not have any plans to add additional residence halls or athletic department buildings.
According to Marsden, this decision is looking toward the future of the institution.
Times have changed, challenging times for higher education, and we need to look at ways to ensure the viability of the institution long term.
Even though the school year is over, faculty say the majority of students agree with the board.
There was a student survey that was done just this past semester, an unsolicited student survey, and it was overwhelmingly positive. The students were in favor of moving to a coeducational institution.
In Woodford County, Mike Linden for the Fox 56 10 o'clock news.
The university will begin taking applications for men wanting to live in residence halls next spring.
University President John Marsden said according to data collected by the Board of Trustees, just 2% of high school women seek out single-sex education.
You're watching Fox 56, your primetime news source. You can like us on Facebook at Fox Lexington.
Still to come, hello Super Mario. Some video game favorites may soon make it to the silver screen.
Rain across the Bluegrass State again increasing this evening. I'll show you why we have a little bit of hope for some dry weather coming our way. It's a little bit, though. Hour by hour forecast next. Stay with us.
Let's do Sonic Lemonade. It's great.
Here's HVAC. It's hard to stop a train.
Well, Well, it was a day that featured a lot of rain across the area, obviously. It featured a big temperature gradient as well, setting up from north to south. I told you the north would be a lot colder than folks across the south. Tennessee border counties with Virginia, we hit 70 today. We could barely get into the low 50s into parts of central and northern Kentucky. Gotta love Kentucky weather. 49 right now in Maysville, 50 showing up for Lexington, where the rains are beginning to pick up the pace right on top of us. Fox radar pictures showing the showers now gathering some steam. Maysville back into Cynthiana. Raindrops on the rooftop getting ready to start here into Carlisle, across most of Bourbon County and into Fayette County. Nicholasville, you got a little light rain to your east. Majority of the stuff, though, is just to our west. Heavier bursts of rain right on top of the capital city of Frankfort. Farther to the southwest, BG Parkway, and then toward Interstate 65. More rains. Hey, I've got some more behind that coming out of western Kentucky into the first half of tomorrow. But look what's going on behind that. It's a little bit of clearing that is heading our way late tomorrow, and especially for the day on Thursday. So your forecast tomorrow, rain is likely in the morning, a lot of upper 40s around. I'm being optimistic at noon at 62. I think a lot of us are still upper 50s. I'm being optimistic at 68 tomorrow afternoon. I think a lot of us are a few degrees cooler than that. I'm just trying to give you a little hope, folks. Mainly dry, though, second half of the day. We look across the entire region, and that chill is definitely in the air, not only Kentucky, but surrounding states, north and west and east of us, too. Southern part of the country a little warmer, as you would expect. Tomorrow morning, out the door, 7 o'clock. Low 50s, some rain. Notice at noon, we start to see a little clearing here in the northern and western parts of the area, though southeastern Kentucky still with some leftover showers. Tomorrow afternoon, at no point do I expect the sky just to go completely blue. Maybe for a second or two, then some clouds begin to filter back in. Tomorrow evening, still a sprinkle chance out there. Thursday is your day. All right, Thursday is the day we've been giving you a little hope for. Beautiful weather will come into play for that one day, and then Friday rolls around. Rainy days and Fridays. It's not a song, but it should be. Temperatures are back into the 60s with more rain across the region. Rains tomorrow centered on the early part of the day. Thursday is your day to get outside and enjoy. Still a storm or two around left over on Saturday. May try to break out of this pattern, guys, at some point Sunday, and I think early next week. Temperatures are back closer to normal. Next week is a week that I think by the end of the week, we're heading toward Memorial Day weekend. Temperatures will really take off on us. It may feel like summer with some more thunderstorms coming back in, but next week's a lot warmer than this week.
Well, let's try really hard to break out of that pattern.
Thursday's your day.
Good. Okay.
Thursday's your day. Keep telling yourselves that. All right. Thursday's my day.
Until we believe it. Is that what it is?
That's it. That's
All right.
it.
Thanks, Chris Bailey.
You got it, guys.
Thank you, Chris. A classic film actress dies and a female villain may soon get her own movie.
It's all in tonight's Look Inside Entertainment.
Casablanca actress Madeleine LeBeau has died. LeBeau played Yvonne, the jilted mistress of Humphrey Bogart's character Rick. Her stepson says she died in Spain earlier this month after breaking her thigh bone. LeBeau was believed to be the last surviving credited cast member of the World War II era film. She was 92.
Could Harley Quinn get her own movie? Sources for The Hollywood Reporter say Margot Robbie, who will soon be on the movie screens as the villainess Harley Quinn in the Suicide Squad movie, will reprise the role for a spin-off movie, which will reportedly also feature other female heroes and villains from the DC Comics universe. Prior to Suicide Squad hitting theaters this summer, Robbie will portray Jane in The Legend of Tarzan.
Nintendo is looking to jump onto the big screen. A spokesman for the video game company says Nintendo is negotiating with production companies to turn characters from its popular game franchises into movies. The Nintendo rep says the company has yet to decide which characters will get the movie treatment. That's tonight's Look Inside Entertainment. Donald Trump won't have to deal with a lawsuit against him while he's running for president. But up next, why thousands of students are suing the presidential nominee.
Plus, a handful of Olympic athletes could be banned from the Summer Games.
Presumptive Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump probably won't have to defend himself against a civil fraud lawsuit until after the election.
That tops tonight's Fox 56 News Notes. The lawsuit is linked to his failed real estate school. New York's highest court is expected to decide next year whether to dismiss a fraud lawsuit by the state's Democratic Attorney General. The suit seeks more than $40 million in restitution for thousands of Trump University students, plus penalties.
The National Transportation Safety Board says a distracted engineer is to blame for a deadly train crash. 8 people died in the accident in Philadelphia last year. According to the NTSB, the engineer was distracted by the news a rock had hit another train. The agency says the lack of a speed control system also contributed to the crash.
The Senate approved money to fight the Zika virus this afternoon. The bill is worth $1.1 billion. President Obama asked for $1.9 billion yesterday. Kentucky Congressman Hal Rogers introduced a bill in the House for $622 million in funding. Lawmakers on both sides say that's not enough. The money would go toward research, controlling mosquito populations, and helping countries with outbreaks.
The International Olympic Committee has announced a major doping crackdown stretching back 8 years. The IOC says 31 athletes in 6 sports could be banned from competing in this year's Olympics after being caught in retesting of drug samples from the 2008 Beijing Games. They also say other positive cases could emerge from the 2012 London Games.
Still to come tonight on Fox 56, honor and tribute paid to the memory of a Kentucky state trooper who died almost 28 years ago.
And we'll check back in on the Democratic presidential primary here in Kentucky.
Wouldn't it be great? Let's go places.
You're watching the Fox 56 10 o'clock news with Marvin Bartlett, Erica Abe, Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey, and Brian Milam on sports.
The Democratic presidential primary in Kentucky between Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders is still being called too close to call by the Associated Press.
With almost all the votes counted, the margin between the two candidates is less than 1%. That's a result that won't change the overall arc of the race for the Democratic nomination. The two rivals will more or less split the delegates available in the state. That's a victory for Clinton as she pushes ever closer to securing her party's nomination.
Lexington Mayor Jim Gray has won the Democratic U.S. Senate nomination in Kentucky to set up a fall campaign against Republican Senator Rand Paul. Paul juggled dual campaigns for the White House and re-election to the Senate until early this year when he ended his struggling presidential bid. Kentucky Democrats last won a U.S. Senate election in 1992. For a list of results, you can go to our website, foxlexington.com, and we'll continue to keep you updated as they come in tonight.
He was shot and killed while on duty nearly 3 decades ago, and his murder still goes unsolved.
But not forgotten. Someone shot Johnny Edrington while he was on patrol on Kentucky 80 near London. Today he was honored at a memorial service in his hometown of Campbellsville. Phil Pendleton is talking to Edrington's family.
For almost 3 decades, they've come out to the cemetery to remember.
You know, even though it's been 28 years, we always have the hope of it being solved.
Barbara Curtis's brother died on December 20th, 1988. Police say he had conducted a traffic stop on Kentucky 80 west of London.
I know that there's always more tips that come in, and we would love to get this solved and know that, that we have some answers.
Until then, every year during Police Officers Memorial Week in May, they come out, the men in gray and blue, family to pay honor and tribute to another fallen officer.
And as of today, 35 more have died this year.
Johnny Edrington was 34. His wife was expecting their daughter, Callie, who attends the annual service with her mother.
She never had the opportunity to know her father. And for her to see that we still celebrate his life and remember his death, I think is crucial.
Police say they hope services like this one will jog a memory, cause someone to come forward with a crucial piece of evidence to put the puzzle together.
And I think we will find the answer. It's just going to take time and patience and dedication from the KSP.
In Taylor County, Phil Pendleton, the Fox 56 10 o'clock news.
Edrington had worked for the London State Police Post for just 3 years when he was killed.
State police are looking for the person responsible for setting a home on fire in Powell County. Troopers say someone broke into the home on Irvin Road in Clay City yesterday afternoon. A weapon and some cash was stolen. State police believe someone set the house on fire to cover up the theft. There is a $1,000 reward for information leading to an arrest and conviction. Plans to rehab an historic building in Boone County damaged in a fire are moving forward. The Rabbit Hash General Store burned in February. Contractors say rehabbing the building will cost more than $200,000. So far, $180,000 has been raised. The goal is to keep it on the National Register for Historic Places. The contractor estimates restoration will take about 2 years.
Lexington police are looking for a man wanted for breaking into a liquor store through a drive-through window. The manager of Big B Liquor on Todd's Road say the burglar stole cigarettes and caused a lot of damage. He estimates the burglar stole at least 90 cartons of cigarettes. In the surveillance video, you can see the man trying to get into the cabinet where the higher value liquor is stored. Police say they are looking over the surveillance video. Lexington police are also investigating after 2 credit card skimmers were found on pumps at a gas station. Police tell us a maintenance technician found the skimmers at a marathon on West Main Street. Police say they've told banks and credit unions around the city to expect calls from customers reporting fraudulent activity.
In Campbell County, a woman received 4 years in prison for stealing from a veteran after he died. Police say Christy Russell stole the man's military benefits and charged $30,000 on his credit card. Police found his body under a home last September, but don't know how he got there or how he died. Russell also had to pay more than $32,000 in restitution.
Rain, snow, sleet, hail. Your mail gets delivered no matter what the weather condition. But other things can stop the carrier in her tracks. Up next, how snakes are getting in the way in one city.
Then, fire from the sky. See the amazing scene caught on a dashboard camera.
Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders going head-to-head in a battle for votes in Kentucky.
By the Ford Motor Company.
A giant on the seas, a creepy mail route, and ducks in a row.
Here are 5 things to know before you go to bed.
All aboard, the world's largest cruise ship is getting ready for its first passengers. The Harmony of the Seas pulled into the English port of Southampton today, arriving from France where it was built. The luxury liner has 16 decks, 24 swimming pools, and a passenger capacity of more than 6,000. The Harmony of the Seas will make its inaugural voyage with a 4-night cruise to Rotterdam next week.
People in one Illinois city say they haven't had regular mail delivery for 2 weeks because their carrier is deathly afraid of snakes. People in a Rogers Park neighborhood say there are hundreds of snakes on their block every spring, but they're harmless, and the homeowners are frustrated the post office isn't serving them. They're not mad that the carrier has a real fear, but they say the post office should send someone who can do the job.
It only took 17 years. The International Space Station has orbited the Earth 100,000 times. NASA announced the milestone yesterday. Since 1998, the space station has circled the Earth every 90 minutes.
This spectacular sight was captured in Maine on a police car's dash camera this morning. A police sergeant was on patrol in Portland when the camera recorded a bright mass hurtling through the sky. The American Meteor Society says it received reports of sightings from people living from New Jersey to Quebec, Canada. The society believes it's a fireball, which is what it calls a very bright meteor.
A duck took up residence in a Minnesota school's courtyard about 5 weeks ago to lay eggs, and students have carefully watched over her. So yesterday, when it was time to herd the new ducklings to a nearby creek in Charles City, the mama duck didn't do it alone. The students served as a wall to guide the mama and ducklings to their destination. There you go, 5 things to know before you go to bed.
Cute ducks.
Yeah, they look like happy ducks. If ducks like wet weather, we probably have a lot of happy ones around here.
I know. We still have a lot of rain in the forecast. Let's get the latest from Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey.
At least the ducks are happy here in the Bluegrass State, right? Fox radar picture And it's raining again into much of central and northern parts of the area. Coming down at a pretty good clip. Anytime on your radar when you're seeing some dark greens, some yellows in there, maybe a little tinge of some orange. Yep, coming down pretty heavily into parts of central Kentucky as of now. So if you like some raindrops on the rooftop, if that makes you sleep, baby sleeping weather, you're going to sleep like a baby out there tonight into much of central and eastern Kentucky. We are noticing, though, in the western parts of the region, a little bit of light rain here, becoming more scattered. That is still to come through here late tonight, early tomorrow morning. This has some cold air behind it. Frost and freeze warnings are out for parts of the Great Lakes right now. We had that issue around here this weekend. It's even late for those folks, but around here, we get the rain through the region early tomorrow. Hang tough by the end of the day, at least some peaks of sunshine. I'm being optimistic at 68, being optimistic at 74 on Thursday because I'm setting you up for the kill again, guys. I got rain back in here Friday and Saturday, especially first half of Saturday. We could be picking up some areas an inch plus of rain Friday through Friday night.
All right, thank you, Chris. Up next, the NBA draft lottery is complete. Also, another UK women's basketball recruit backs away.
And a special night at Dunbar High School as the Sweet 16 champs got their rings. The Fox 56 Sports Extra is next.
Version of the 10 o'clock news is brought to you by Steiner's HVAC. Time now for the Fox 56 Sports Extra.
The NBA draft lottery was held tonight, and with the 14 teams in the running, there was 2,184 possible scenarios in the order of who would pick first. It came down to the Celtics, Lakers, and 76ers. Boston got the third pick.
The second pick will be made by the Los Angeles Lakers, and that means that the #1 pick in the 2016 NBA draft goes to the Philadelphia 76ers.
So the Sixers get the top choice, followed by the Lakers and the Lakers and Celtics. The Suns, they get 2 lottery picks. Phoenix gets the 4th and the 13th. The T-Wolves are 5th, and it's the Pelicans, Nuggets, Kings, Raptors, and Bucks. The Magic pick 11, Jazz 12, and the Bulls at number 14. What is going on with Marcus Lee? The latest news coming out of the draft is that Lee has canceled his remaining workouts. Lee did not have a good showing at the NBA Combine, and according to Adam Zagoria of SNY-TV, Lee has canceled at least 3 workouts. Lee, remember, said he wasn't hiring an agent. Lee did say, however, that he was not opposed to spending time in the D-League if he was not drafted. Most mock drafts have Lee going undrafted. Karl Anthony Towns and the Minnesota Timberwolves will be going into the KFC Yum Center next fall for a preseason game with the Miami Heat. The date is Saturday, October 15th. Tickets will start at $18 and go on sale June the 3rd. No announcement yet, but ESPN is preparing a 30 for 30 on John Calipari. Cal biographer and now ESPN PR man David Scott tweeting today footage from a 30 for 30 about the Kentucky coach made it to the sizzle reel during ESPN's upfront presentation this morning. That's where the networks try to build excitement for the fall. The UK spokesman confirming the show does not have a title, and the only other bit of info they were willing to share at this time was that an ESPN crew began filming the show during the weekend of Cal's induction into the Basketball Hall of Fame. UK is expecting an official announcement from ESPN in the not-too-distant future. Another blow for Matthew Mitchell and company. Forward Shannon Scott from Myers Park in Charlotte has reopened her recruitment. That's according to an announcement by her mom on Twitter, who also left her phone number. Scott picked UK over Tennessee, East Carolina, Virginia Tech, and Indiana. 2 months after winning the school's first state basketball championship, Dunbar received their championship rings tonight. They're pretty excited about it. The end-of-the-year banquet wrapped up a memorable season for Dunbar, winning a school record 33 games, beating Doss in the title fight. But it all became real tonight with the ring.
Starting to realize what we actually did. I mean, all the parades we got, it was just amazing. But now since we finally got the rings, it makes it that much sweeter, and I actually recognize like we actually were the 2016 state champs.
That ring kind of means, you know, that just it's a symbol that just stays with you forever that you really accomplished it. You know, no talk, just the ring.
Gun Runner, the third-place finisher of the Derby, will not run in Saturday's Preakness. The Louisiana Derby winner would have been one of the stronger challengers to Nyquist, but trainer Steve Asmussen said this morning he'll have to pass. Gunrunner will continue training at Churchill Downs. Asmussen said the colt is in tremendous physical condition coming out of the Derby, and he's planning a serious summer of 3-year-old races for Gunrunner. The NCAA softball tournament opens on Friday. The Wildcats, the number 9 national seed in the tournament, they'll host a regional. The Cats finished the regular season with a school record 43 wins. There's 17 SEC victories, also the most ever. For UK senior class, it's hard not to think about making a return trip to the College World Series.
It's hard not to look ahead, but I'm trying to really just live in the moment because I know that it's soon to be over. So, yeah, just trying to focus, you know, on the next day and living in the moment every day and soaking it all up.
There's always the will to win regionals because for the past 3 years, our senior class has made it to supers, so we want to keep that tradition going.
To say the baseball Wildcats are on the bubble to make the NCAA tournament would be a serious understatement. The Cats have 13 SEC wins, but need 16, more than likely, with Missouri coming to town this weekend. SEC wins have been tough to come by, with just 5 victories in the last 5 series, including most recently a 3-game sweep at the hands of Ole Miss.
That's one of the things that we were hoping to get that one this weekend, and it would have been really nice, but I think that we just have a big heart about us, and we know that we want to get to that spot, and we want to be able to win this weekend and even today and be able to go to that regional.
So we've got an opportunity to turn this thing around, and we're looking forward to taking advantage of that opportunity. And we don't feel like, you know, we're not together. We feel like we're unified. We feel like we're ready and prepared to compete.
Tonight at historic Brooks Stadium in Paducah, Kentucky playing Murray State. A pair of homers by Evan White and Zach Rex, coupled with a nice pitching outing from Zach Lowe, gave UK a 4-1 lead in the 8th. Well, they started a rain delay, and it's now final due to weather. UK wins it 4-1. Lafayette's 5-star offensive lineman Jed Wills celebrated a birthday today by releasing his list of top 10 schools. Here's the 10, and he says no particular order: Alabama, Florida, Georgia, Kentucky, LSU, Michigan, Michigan State, Notre Dame, Ohio State, and Tennessee. Let's hope that one is by Kentucky. Kentucky's Tyler McDaniel tied for the lead heading into the final round of NCAA Golf Regional in Tuscaloosa. McDaniel with a 5-under par 67 in today's second round. UK's Lucas Euler is tied for 5th. He shot a 71 in the team standings. The Wildcats 3rd place at 1 under for the tournament. 9 shots behind Georgia, leading the field at 10 under. South Carolina is in 2nd place. The final round is tomorrow. That's sports. We'll be right back.
For 25.
If you have a news tip, call our hotline at 859-299-8630.
Breaking news, the Kentucky Secretary of State's office now says Hillary Clinton has won tonight's election. You can see there just how close it was. The office says there are just 2 precincts out now in Louisville, so it appears Hillary Clinton will win by somewhere between 1,700 and 1,800 votes.
Very tight race there this evening, and it's been a wet election day for voters.
Yeah, very wet. And you know what I hear right now? I hear rain on the rooftop, guys, and that rain will carry us into the first half of Wednesday. Late in the day tomorrow, skies try to break just a little bit. Thursday is your day. 74, a little sunshine as the day goes on. Friday, rain returns, some thunder and lightning that'll carry us into the first half of our Saturday. I do see us trying to break out of this pattern, though, early next week, at least for now. I see it.
That is good news.
It really is, yeah.
Yeah, we are raring to break out.
We are.
Thanks for being with us on this election night. Hope you're back tomorrow night at 10 o'clock.
Have a great evening.
Value City Furniture presents